Manhattan apartments are small, expensive, and frequently short on natural light. And yet the best ones feel more sophisticated than apartments twice their size in cities where space is abundant and light is generous. The reason is not despite the darkness. It is because of what the darkness was made into. The conventional wisdom about small apartments and dark colors is wrong, and Manhattan has been demonstrating this consistently for decades. The wisdom says, dark walls make small rooms feel smaller. Keep it light, keep it pale, maximize the sense of space. This advice optimizes for one thing, the appearance of the apartment in photographs and to first-time visitors. It does not optimize for how the apartment feels to someone living in it every day, returning to it after the specific kind of exhaustion that a day in Manhattan produces. Darkness in a small apartment does something to boundaries that paleness cannot. A pale wall announces its location precisely. The brain maps it, registers the distance, confirms the room's dimensions. A dark wall absorbs its own location. The boundary becomes less legible, the room's edges less precisely defined, and the brain reads this spatial ambiguity as expansiveness rather than confinement. The room stops announcing how small it is, and a room that does not announce its limitations feels, immediately and reliably, more expensive than one that does. Manhattan designers return to a specific set of dark tones so consistently that they have become the visual shorthand for the aesthetic, and understanding why each was chosen reveals something important about what makes darkness feel expensive rather than oppressive. Deep charcoal, not quite black, not quite gray, but the specific warm dark between them, is the most versatile of the Manhattan dark tones. It absorbs light without creating the stark contrast that pure black produces, and it works in every light condition from the north-facing apartment that receives no direct sun to the high-floor unit that catches the western sky in the late afternoon. Forest green, the specific dark green that carries enough blue to feel cool and enough yellow to feel alive, brings a quality of natural depth that pure neutrals cannot, making the room feel as though it exists in productive relationship with the natural world despite being on the 14th floor of a midtown building. And midnight navy, the blue that is almost black, that carries within it all the associations of deep water and night sky, creates the most dramatic of the Manhattan moods, a room that feels like it exists at the intersection of sophistication and mystery. Each of these colors is dark enough to absorb boundaries and expensive enough to justify the commitment. None of them is simply dark. The Manhattan mood is not produced by dark walls alone. Dark walls under the wrong lighting feel oppressive, heavy, airless, and difficult to be inside for any length of time. The darkness becomes the mood only when the lighting is exactly right, and the lighting that is exactly right in a Manhattan apartment is always the same: warm, layered, and coming from sources positioned low enough that it creates pools of amber light against the dark surfaces rather than illuminating the room uniformly. This lighting approach is not a stylistic preference. It is a technical requirement, the specific combination of light temperature and placement that makes dark surfaces glow rather than absorb. At 2700 K, warm amber light catches the depth in a dark green wall and releases it as warmth. At 3000 K or above, the same wall reads as cold and flat, the darkness without its compensation. The difference is barely measurable in absolute terms, and completely transformative in effect. The Manhattan apartment in the evening, 2 floor lamps, 2 table lamps, 1 or 2 candles, all at 2700 K, all below eye level, is the room that every other dark interior is attempting to be. Warm amber against deep dark, shadow with presence, light used not to eliminate darkness but to make it livable. The Manhattan dark apartment needs color, not to soften the darkness or to provide contrast that breaks the mood, but to warm it from within. And the colors that warm darkness without breaking it are always jewel tones: deep emerald, rich burgundy, warm amber, the specific peacock blue that sits between green and navy. Jewel tones work in dark interiors because they share the darkness's depth while adding the warmth and richness that pure dark neutrals cannot provide. A deep emerald velvet sofa in a charcoal room does not contrast with the walls, it continues them in a warmer and more saturated register. A rich burgundy textile on a dark shelf does not interrupt the mood, it deepens it, adding a note of warmth that makes the surrounding darkness feel inhabited rather than empty. The specific Manhattan approach to jewel tones is restraint within abundance, one dominant jewel tone that the room is organized around, with 2 or 3 supporting tones in smaller quantities. Not a room full of competing jewel tones that exhaust each other, but a room built around one jewel color that everything else is chosen to honor. Every Manhattan apartment that achieves the full Moody expensive aesthetic contains one surface that is not dark, one material so extraordinary in its physical qualities that it earns its place in the dark room by creating a contrast that deepens the surrounding darkness rather than breaking it. Marble is the most reliable of these surfaces, the specific cool white or warm cream of natural stone with veining that is genuinely unrepeatable, placed where it will be encountered closely and appreciated in detail. In a dark apartment, a marble countertop or a marble side table reads as a jewel, the one light element in the room that makes everything around it darker and more dramatic by comparison. Aged brass has the same effect in metal, not as hardware, but as a substantial surface, a brass top table or a large brass mirror, whose specific quality of warm reflectivity creates a point of warmth that the dark walls amplify. The extraordinary material surface is not decorative. It is structural, the element that prevents the dark room from becoming uniformly dark, that gives the eye one specific place of exceptional quality to rest, and that makes everything around it look more expensive by association. In a small Manhattan apartment, the relationship between dark walls and perceived space operates differently from how most design advice describes it. And the mechanism is worth understanding precisely because it contradicts the conventional wisdom so completely. When walls are pale, they are visible, precisely, continuously, at every point in the room. The eye maps them automatically, confirming the room's dimensions with every glance. The room's smallness is registered not once, but constantly, every time the eye moves to a wall and finds it close. When walls are dark, they are present but less legible. The eye finds the dark surface but cannot map its distance with the same precision that a pale surface allows. The boundary is felt rather than measured, and felt boundaries produce a different neurological response than measured ones. The room stops being a specific size and becomes a specific atmosphere. An atmosphere, unlike square footage, has no upper limit. The Manhattan apartment with dark walls is not a small apartment that has made itself look larger. It is a small apartment that has stopped being about its size entirely and started being about how it feels to be inside it. The furniture that works in a dark Manhattan apartment shares one quality that distinguishes it from furniture that fights the mood rather than deepening it: weight. Not physical heaviness, but visual weight. The specific quality of a piece that has enough presence to hold its own in a dark room without disappearing into it or competing with it. Low sofas with deep seats and dark upholstery in velvet or heavy linen carry this weight correctly, sitting close to the floor and offering the generous seating depth that a sophisticated dark room requires. Their upholstery dark enough to read as part of the room's color world, while their texture catches the amber light differently from the walls around them. Substantial side tables in dark lacquer or aged walnut provide horizontal surfaces that contribute to the mood rather than interrupting it. And the one extraordinary piece, the vintage leather armchair, the antique side table, the piece of furniture that is older than everything else in the room, anchors the dark apartment with the specific quality of history that prevents the moodiness from feeling manufactured. Dark rooms require furniture with the confidence to exist in darkness. Pieces that know what they are without needing brightness to announce it. The Manhattan apartment kitchen is the room where the moody aesthetic is most surprising and most consistently successful, because the kitchen is conventionally the room most resistant to darkness, the one where practical requirements of visibility and cleanliness have historically demanded pale surfaces and bright light. The Manhattan dark kitchen rejects this convention entirely. Matte black cabinetry with brushed brass hardware that catches the amber undercabinet lighting with extraordinary precision. Dark stone countertops, soapstone, or dark marble, whose surfaces absorb light rather than reflecting it, and age into a depth that pale stone never achieves. Open shelving in blackened steel or dark walnut, holding objects in warm earth tones, and aged brass that are both used daily and genuinely beautiful. The dark kitchen works because darkness in a kitchen, properly lit, creates the most dramatic and most considered cooking environment available. A room that feels serious about what happens in it, that communicates through its surfaces that food prepared here is prepared with intention. The Manhattan dark kitchen is not a kitchen that is trying to look like a luxury restaurant. It is a kitchen that understands that darkness and culinary seriousness have always belonged together. For those who want the Manhattan mood without the full commitment of dark walls on every surface, there is a specific approach that delivers most of the aesthetics effect while preserving flexibility, and it begins with understanding which element of the Manhattan apartment actually produces the mood. The answer is lighting, not walls. The specific quality of warm amber light layered from multiple low sources in a room with any wall color, not just dark ones, produces the beginning of the Manhattan mood. Start there. Turn off the overhead light. Add a floor lamp and 2 table lamps at 2700 K. Introduce 1 candle. The room changes immediately and significantly, regardless of what color the walls are. From this foundation, the mood can be built incrementally. 1 dark accent wall, the wall behind the sofa or the wall the bed faces, creates the visual depth that full drenching achieves at a fraction of the commitment. 1 jewel-toned textile in a room that is otherwise neutral introduces the richness that the full dark palette carries throughout. And 1 aged brass or dark lacquer material surface provides the extraordinary element that makes the mood feel expensive rather than simply dim. The Manhattan mood, like all the best design philosophies, is scalable. It begins with lighting, deepens with color, and completes with material, and each step is reversible until the commitment is made. The Manhattan apartment mood gives something back that bright, pale, open apartments, however generously proportioned and however well lit, structurally cannot. The specific quality of a space that feels like it exists for you rather than for everyone. Pale, bright apartments are democratic spaces. They look good to everyone. They work for everyone. They offend no one and commit to nothing. The moody Manhattan apartment is the opposite. It is a space that has made a specific choice about color, about light, about the materials and the atmosphere it wants to inhabit, and that choice is visible in every surface and every decision. The room belongs to someone. It has a point of view. It does not need your approval because it was not made for your approval. This quality, the specific confidence of a space that knows what it is and does not apologize for it, is what reads as expensive, not the dark walls themselves, not the aged brass or the velvet sofa or the amber lighting. The confidence behind every decision that produced them. And that confidence, once understood, is available in any apartment, in any size, in any building, at any budget, that is willing to make the specific choice the Manhattan apartment has always been willing to make. Dark walls that absorb boundaries. Amber light that makes darkness livable. One jewel tone. One extraordinary surface. Subscribe for a new interior video every week.